Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Boxing. I'm Leti.
I'm LB.
And let's get into the Mexico on Mexico war that's about to go down this weekend.
Let's get it.
So we have Emanuel Navarrete out of Mexico.
AKA Vaquero.
Vaquero versus Oscar Valdez out of Mexico as well.
Hey, let's go.
Dang, all right. So I feel like this is going to be one of the fights that's not going to disappoint.
Okay.
In regards to, what we think is going to happen. I feel like it's probably going to happen.
Oh, so you think it's going to happen this
time.
time?
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But we just got,
ready.
let's kind of talk about the press conference that I thought actually was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
I love how they brought out Morales and Barrera because they've been doing the build-up for a minute between both of them. As you know, they had that trilogy, that war.
One of the greatest, matchups to watch. They got that long history, like you said, the trilogy, and anytime they talk about, Mexico versus Mexico war, those are the two names that get brought up. And, even the two fighters have always, said that they want that Barrera-Morales fight. So, I'm excited, and I think that was real cool, like you said.
Yeah, and it's crazy to see them having a podcast together now, Morales and Barrera. But anyways, I liked how they did that because, it was kind of like a flashback, I guess, to like the other fighters I used to, watch the fights back in the day like that. So I feel like they really try to emulate that. But I feel like in regards to Valdez and Navarrete, I feel like they really had a lot of respect for each other. I don't think, they said like, there's no reason for us to talk about each other. I guess that's that one thing that they said is different between them and Barrera and Morales.
Yeah, because that was beef.
They had beef for reals up until like recent. They hashed it out. But they said Navarrete and Valdez is just like we don't have that beef. Be respectful, whatever. But when it comes in the ring, that's gonna be a whole nother thing. I'm coming for your head.
That switch go off.
Yeah, did anything stand out to you in regards to that?
No, it was I was just like you said, I didn't expect Morales or Barrera to be there. So that was exciting to see. That was the part that really stood out to me. So.
Yeah, I was wondering if they now thinking that they did that, I was like, for the Spence and Crawford, they were comparing it a lot to
that would have been nice to see.
If they had that, that's kind of cool when they did that.
That was real cool.
But I don't know if it was just me, like when they did the face off. Did you see how Navarrete was breathing?
He always weighs in like that. Like he always he always for some reason he always does that. No, you're not tripping. That's what he did. He did that in the Liam Wilson fight too. That's just what he does. Maybe that's your first time noticing, but that's what he does.
I was like, is he tired? Is he like he looked he was breathing, he looked a little exhausted.
Yeah, but I will say this though, the part about the face off that I was more interested in was the fact that Oscar Valdez, the height difference wasn't as much as I thought it was gonna be.
Yep. That's what I was too. When I see them facing each other, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. It's not that crazy. Yeah. I was also trying to match up their lengths between their arms.
Oh, there's no reason even to measure that. We already know. Now they got them long arms, man.
Yeah, but just like you, you're basketball. But not that that's what I was looking at too, the size difference. But it wasn't that crazy.
Yeah, that was actually I was expecting it to be a lot bigger, so that definitely stood out to me.
But kind of to get into the fight, as we know, actually you tell us a little bit of how we got here to this fight.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, to give a little resume on these guys. So you got Oscar Valdez, who was a 2-division champ. Winning a title at 126, and then winning from Burchell at 130. And so, he only has a loss to Shakur Stevenson, who's in the pound for pound. And since then, he's bounced back against Adam Lopez and got the victory over him. And then to talk a little bit more about Navarrete. Navarrete is a 3-division champ, being a champion at 122, then at 126, and now at 130 pounds after we saw him against Liam Wilson. So that's kind of how we got here. The fights they had before that. Do you kind of want to?
And I mean, they were actually supposed to fight before, right? But then, we talked about the injury.
There was a rib injury. There was a rib injury for Oscar Valdez, which he had to weight. So that's how Liam Wilson ended up getting in that fight.
Yeah. So and now we're here. Like we said, they know both of them had to have this war with each other. That Mexican on Mexican war to put the little cherry on top, you know, of the icing or the icing in the cake, however you say it. Yeah. But like I said, I think we've been having these good ass matchups thus far this year. And I just feel like this one is actually going to be a great one as well. And you know how we've been saying all these fights are 50-50 and you know this, we think it's supposed to go down like this. And when it happens, it's like it goes down like nobody thought was going to go down. Yeah,
where it ends up being, one fighter just dominating the other.
And I just feel like this fight, both fighters are going to come because for one, that's their fighting style. Just come forward. We got counter punchers, great uppercuts being thrown, hella combinations by Navarrete. And I just feel like, for one, that's their style. Two, they don't want to disappoint the fans.
Absolutely.
Especially because, quote unquote, what they say, the Mexican style, come forward. Take punches, give punches.
Tit for tat. But and to kind of go along more with that is we've been talking about all these matchups. This was another one that we wanted to see. After Oscar Valdez's last fight and after the Liam Wilson fight, this was the fight that we wanted to see. And we had been talking about even I remember there was talk about Oscar Valdez, you know, prior to the Shakur Stevenson fight. Where he wanted to fight Navarrete. So, you know, we've been talking about this fight for a while now, just like probably all you guys too. So,
I just, like we said, I think this one's going to be one of those where it's going to be action on both ends.
Should I talk a little bit about some of these fighters do?
Let's go.
All right, well, shoot. All right, who you want me to start with?
Let's start with the champ.
Okay,
Navarrete.
So we start with Navarrete. Now, Navarrete is an exciting fighter to watch. One of the reasons why he's so exciting is because not only does he got power in both hands and he throws bombs from round 1 to round 12, but he also has an awkward style. It's not a style that you're used to seeing. You mentioned it already. You know, he's known for those lead uppercuts and leaping shots that he throws, and he kind of breaks all the rules, but he still ends up being effective. And I think a lot of that comes from his awkwardness. You know, he's also a good body puncher, and when it breaks down to who lands the most combinations in boxing, he's number 2.
And he's like 60.
He's number 2.
Like
he's number 2. Crazy, right? You know, only behind the legend Chocolatito. You know, when it comes to landed combinations. So he comes and he lets them things go.
Yes, even when he's hurt or even when he's getting punched, he said, "I'm gonna give 4, 5, 6, you know, or take 4, 5, and 6 till I land one because I know mine's gonna land and mine's gonna hurt my opponent." Like you said, he got the great awkward ass uppercut, but he follows that with the hook, and it's dangerous.
It's dangerous. And the other thing about him is he's not the most defensively sound, but the thing with him is his defense is his offense. Him being out, you know, just pure volume, he uses that instead. That's what he even says. You know, he uses that instead in his defense.
And I mean, he's even talked about in one of his interviews, like, you know, I try to have somebody come in, or someone was trying to show him, you know, when you throw, you got to move your foot like in this angle. This is how you got to try to cut. He goes, man, like that's just not my style. Like if I do that, I'm gonna be too slow. So he definitely has his own style. He calls it, I know it's an ugly style, but it's my style. And it's obviously been working for him.
It's been working. You know, he's kind of got an off rhythm about it too. And so it's definitely hard to get the timing, and it makes it hard for the opponents to game plan for him because there's nobody you can really get in there and mimic his style.
Like spar with
him. You can't. There's nobody else fighting like him.
Yeah, so I mean.
So he definitely has that element of surprise.
He definitely did try, like you say, he carries the power all the way through. Even though I gotta say his conditioning is not the best conditioning, as I'm pretty sure we can all agree even so.
His condition, and to kind of say it like that, you know, whatever condition he comes in, you know, he still always lets his hands go, no matter what his condition comes in. I will always say that about him. He always, you know, he never holds no punches back.
He carries it. We've known that he got dropped in his last fight for the first time with Wilson.
Liam Wilson, first time at the division too.
He got back up and finished him on the 9th round, so his power carries through. Hella combinations.
So definitely the power did translate to the new division. And that's a little bit, you know, what Navarrete does. Now, when it comes to Oscar Valdez, on the other hand, Oscar Valdez, you know, he comes from you know, he's an Olympian. He represented Mexico, I think, twice in the Olympics. You know, he's got more of a larger amateur pedigree, and I feel like between the two, I feel like he's a better all-around a boxer. I definitely think that he has the better feet in this fight. Oscar Valdez, I think he's gonna have the better speed advantage. I think he's gonna have the speed, you know, the hand speed. What he's known for, though, is that left hook. Everybody knows that, you know, he got some stank on that left hook. He got some good timing on it, and you know, it's been one of his go-to punches. He also got a good right hand. And you know, since, you know, everyone's been talking about like you know, this is being a war, but I will say this, you know, since he's got with Eddie Reynoso's camp, you know, he's sharpened up his boxing skills and he's focused more on defense, you know, where he's not you know, getting caught up in so many wars, because, you know, before Reynoso, he was in a fight where he fought pretty much a whole fight with a broken jaw, and so you know, he definitely made some adjustments there, and he definitely got sharpened up. You know, he's really been focusing, I feel like, lately on his jab. And so that's, you know, I feel like he's done better with his jab, but, you know, and just mixing it up and not just getting so left hand crazy. But, you know, he does it pretty much, he pretty much does you know, he pretty much does a little bit of everything. Yeah. The other thing about him is, you know, he operates out of that high guard, you know, that peekaboo style. You know, we've seen, you know, where he's, like in a Shakur fight where he's looking to, you know, cut the distance off, and then we've also seen him, you know, box a little bit more in other fights. But, you know, that's a little bit more about Oscar Valdez. And lastly, I want to say about him is he's also a good counter puncher.
He's a great counter puncher.
Yeah.
You got, especially we were seeing. Well, I was seeing that Adam Lopez fight because he was getting caught up in a few of them, but he was countering, and damn, he was landing some good punches. Broke his nose, I think, too, at the end of the last round. But yeah, you're definitely right. I wanted to piggyback on that with Reynoso. He definitely did work on his defense a lot more than what he was. But still, again, he goes in there and gives it war from round 1 to 12. He's throwing the bombs. Obviously, the Shakur fight was different because Shakur's just a different kind of boxer. He's special. And he couldn't get to him. But when he can get to you, you know, it's punishment. But kind of to go, you know, based on that, I'm gonna kind of go with who I think is gonna win the fight. Like I said, this fight might be candidate for fight of the year. A lot of people saying that. Yeah, I definitely think that's gonna be one of those. But I'm gonna just kind of lean towards Valdez more on this fight, just because Vaquero, we know how he boxes. He's awkward, throws punches. He's not gonna get off. He's gonna pressure you for the whole rounds. But I just feel that his conditioning won't be as at the level as Valdez, because I heard that Valdez is one of the most dedicated fighters in camp, and he just has his specific routine that he sticks to it, and he's very good with that. Now Vaquero, as we know, he doesn't have a dietitian. He makes his weight a little different. He eats, he even say himself, you know, if he needs to drink a little soda before getting into sparring, have a little sugar before getting on the sparring. He does that to wake himself up. And I just feel like he doesn't make it to the fight well, I guess I would 100%. Say that. For what he doesn't bring it in. And it's crazy that he can still have all that power from the first round to the last round, knowing how he does the conditioning. But I just feel like this is the first time that he's going to be in the ring kind of with someone like Valdez. Like you say, he's kind of an all-around fighter, where if you make a mistake, he's going to make you pay for it, and he's going to try to get you to make a mistake. And I just feel like Valdez is just going to come to win. He wants to be champ again. He's going to counter good. There might be some some knockdowns throughout the fight, but I think it might go to decision. I don't know that it'll be a knockout.
Okay, so you're going... So
I'm going Valdez.
By decision?
Yeah, by decision.
Okay.
And I'm saying this because, damn, he was in Joet, when Navarrete fought against Joet, he was punishing Joet with the punches, and he managed to make it all the way to the 12th round for a decision. And if we look at Valdez, he's been in there with a broken jaw. And he made it all the way to the last round. So I feel like it'll go.
Okay.
What do you think?
All right, let's talk about it a little bit. You know, so you know, one of the things that I'm so excited for this fight is, when it comes to Oscar Valdez, a lot of people, are comparing him to that Burchell fight. Everyone says, that's the best that Oscar Valdez performance that they've seen. And they've said like, the fights after that, it hasn't been the same. He hasn't looked his best. And to kind of talk about that, I think the reason for that is just because the style of Burchell versus the fighters that he fought after Burchell were pretty much all boxers. You got Lopez, who was a boxer. You got Shakur Stevenson, who was a master boxer.
Yeah.
And then you got Conceição, who is a gold medalist and who also is a pure boxer. And so I think that's why he hasn't looked his best to the public. But I think this style right here is meant for him. This is a better style for him. One that he doesn't have to look to close the distance as much. And then so that's kind of how I feel, why I'm excited for Oscar Valdez in this fight. And then when it comes to Navarrete, I'm excited for this fight because one thing about Navarrete, he's always made it clear and he's always been honest. He's like, you know what, it's hard for me to get motivated for fights. He said that like some fights I'm just not motivated, and so I am excited to see a motivated Navarrete.
You know what? To kind of go with that, he did say he really never put in like the strength and conditioning in his camp.
Yeah.
And this one, he said he was doing little push-ups, doing a little
doing a little
strength.
Yeah. And so for that reason, I think we're gonna get the best versions out of both fighters because of the style. It's better for Valdez, and then this is a fight that Navarrete can get up for. So now I kind of talked about the previous fight. A lot of people say the best fight for Navarrete has been when he fought Dogbe, and that was one of his best performances. Dogbe comes in, and he was actually, and Navarrete in that fight was actually he was a huge underdog, and to dethrone the champ and then run it back and beat the champ again. That was impressive. That was impressive to do, and they come with the similar sizes of Valdez. And I'll even say this on that fight. In the Navarrete fight, he actually boxed a little bit in that fight versus Dogbe and allowed Dogbe to kind of come forward, early on in the fight, and that was kind of cool to see. But so I'm excited. So those are some of the reasons why I'm excited. We do know that the previous fight versus Liam Wilson, Navarrete, it wasn't his best fight. It was his first time at the weight class, and that was the first time we've ever seen him hurt like that. Am I right? Mm-hmm. We saw him hurt versus Liam Wilson, and what was the shot that landed on him that got the party started? It was a left hook. And we already know that's Oscar Valdez's main bread and butter punch. And so, he's definitely going to have to be on the lookout for that.
That's why I said he was licking his chops.
Yeah.
When he was watching that.
Yep. That's a lot of people was thinking. So, but I will say this, he did get hurt in that fight, but he did show the heart of a champion and finding a way to get the job done, and he ended up stopping Liam Wilson. So that definitely showed how he would handle adversity. So that was exciting for us to see in that fight.
And to kind of off that a little bit, he did come back and stop him, but I feel like Liam Wilson kind of slowed down and he got tired. Yeah. And you have Valdez, who I feel like he conditions very well. No, I feel like you have Valdez that he's going to be going up against, that he could have the stamina or the conditioning to go to all the way to 12 rounds. Because I think he probably got Wilson because he was just kind of declining a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, because that was his first time. He hadn't been 10 rounds or something like that. So definitely, I think that was a reason for that. I don't think it's going to be the same. Oscar Valdez has fought on this type of platform before.
Many times.
And, when I think about Oscar Valdez also in this fight, he's been in this situation before. This isn't the first guy that he's come across who's a knockout, who's got a lot of knockouts and got power. We saw what he did with Burchell. I mean, he came in there against Burchell, who was looked at as a monster. He was knocking everybody out, and he ended up being the one knocking him out. And he was an underdog in that fight too.
He was out cold.
Yeah. So I definitely feel like Oscar Valdez is comfortable in this, type of setting against this type of fighter. And in that one, he boxed his way, and a lot of people were thinking that was going to be a war, and it turned out not to be, just for the simple fact of Oscar Valdez was, he boxed well, and he just took his time, he was patient, and he landed those nice counters. He was, he pretty much, it was a good performance. So when I kind of think about all of that, I'm also gonna go with Oscar Valdez, and I just for the simple fact of I can see him, landing some shots, especially in between shots as the fight starts to go on. Navarrete, he never stops throwing punches, even though he was getting caught in between punches by Liam Wilson in his last fight. He still continued to press forward, but I think that it's going to be a lot different from with Oscar Valdez, and I do see him, being able to catch Navarrete in between punches. But I think it's going to be a war at times, but I think there's also going to be times where we see Oscar Valdez boxing. So, with that all that being said, I'm going with Oscar Valdez, and I'm going to go by decision too. I'm going to go by decision, but Oscar Valdez, a knockout can happen. If you don't think so, look at what happened with Burchell, where he, that was one of the knockouts of the year.
Yeah, that was a good knockout.
And just like that Burchell fight, I could see Oscar being a little patient at first, just to try to get used to the movements of Navarrete, because it's so awkward. And then with him having the speed, I see him as the fight kind of goes on, I see him having more and more success.
Yeah, and to kind of go off what you said, also like at times you're gonna see you feel like you're gonna see Valdez boxing a little more.
Yeah.
I think that might be kind of their plan. And Editor Nosos and their team. But I just feel like if he snaps and kind of, sometimes you get in there and you're having these many shots coming at you, you want to engage in that war. You might throw your plan out the window and you say, come on, let's get it. Let's get, I get fajarnos, like he said. So I feel like at times he's going to want to do that, and hopefully his team kind of also rails him in like, hey, okay, you can do this as first, but you got to remember the plan. And
I feel
like at some point he's just going to be like, I gotta do it.
I think it's going to be more so than one. There's going to be in the exchanges, there's definitely going to be fights that break out. You know what I mean? Where the mini wars, if you want to call it for sure.
Yep,
aspects in the fight.
That's what I'm excited to see. But it's like we see that round 1 through 12. It's kind of like damn, like I didn't enjoy it. The whole rounds, it was like, whoo! I was putting myself in their shoes, and I was like, tired for them. But they're fine. That's what they do. That's what they train.
That's what they do.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see it. Like Navarrete said, he goes, I want to be busted up. I don't want to be hurt at the end of the fight, after the fight, but I want to be busted up to show that it was like a good fight. Well, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to come back and do the recap to find out whether, who won, if it was a knockout, because lately, actually, if you think about it, the trend with boxing with these fights, the trend is knockout. It's been knockouts.
Oh, it has been knockouts.
So it's been a trend. Who knows? Maybe, but...
I'll say this. If there's a knockout, who do you think gets it?
I think Valdez will get the knockout.
Okay.
You?
Yeah, if it's a knockout, I think it'll be Valdez.
Yeah.
Okay.
He a little sneaky.
Yeah. And I think if it does come, I think it'll be late. I think it would be late.
Hey, some people are saying eighth round.
Yeah, but we already know that he's got that Navarrete has got some dog. We seen him get off the canvas and wasn't even deterred and still was throwing bombs.
Yeah, so
but
we have to wait and see for the fight. And again, this might be the candidate of the year fight. So actually we had some really good, crazy knockouts. Yeah. Well, technical knockouts, but we don't have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. As you can tell, we're excited for this fight. Let us know below how you guys see this fight going and who you guys got. But that's all we got. So thanks for tuning in, y'all.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Or talk your shit. And